Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. A few months ago, the occupied territories of Palestine asked the UN to grant them observer nation status. Israel and the US tried to prevent that from happening, but in a sharp rebuke to both countries, the status was granted by an overwhelming vote. In response, the Netanyahu government announced that Israel was going to accelerate the pace of settlement building in the West Bank and Arab East Jerusalem. Now, settlements were being built before the Palestinian application to the UN. So it wasn't like anything really changed. The purpose of those settlements is to make it impossible for there to be a two-state solution. Israel was building settlements on Palestinian land before the vote, and they are continuing to now. This is because the Israeli right wing is a dominant force in their politics. But because of this vote, the Palestinians are now empowered to bring a case to the International Criminal Court, charging Israel with war crimes, a case that they will win. The nation of Israel will be officially not just a criminal nation, but labeled as guilty of war crimes. Everyone in the Israeli government who has anything to do with those settlements will be branded a war criminal. Every carpenter and construction worker, every settler will be a war criminal. They will bear the same designation as Adolf Eichmann, Heinrich Himmler, and Adolf Hitler himself. And since the USA provides financial support for Israel, we could find ourselves with the same designation. I don't think it would be a good thing for the United States to be branded a nation of war criminals, even though when we did the torture thing, we branded ourselves that. But now the label could become official in time. The way I see it, our unconditional support for everything Israel does is bad for us and bad for them. Eventually, the settlement activity will lead to violence, will lead to lots of violence. It could lead to an all-out war against Israel by countries which are our allies in the Middle East. Now, in Libya and currently in Syria, we're pretty careful about who we support. We avoid supporting Islamist groups. We avoid supporting groups that may be affiliated with Al-Qaeda. I think we should be just as careful about who we support in Israel. There are groups that want to have peace with Israel, to have peace with the Palestinians. But the government of Israel does not, and we should withdraw our support from that. And we should support those groups and those groups only. I mean, the purpose of settlements is to make a just peace impossible. The Netanyahu government is an enemy of peace. They should be our enemy too. Thanks for listening.